How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another Destiny 2 build. In this build, we're going to be covering the Shadebinder Darkness subclass on the Warlock. In this build, we're going to be consisting of using Cold Snap grenades and using your healing rifts. But generally, mostly the Cold Snap grenades because of this exotic gauntlet called Osmiomancy Gloves. And here's what it does. It's called Fervid Cold Snap. Your Cold Snap grenades have an additional grenade charge that recharges quicker on direct impact. The Seeker spawned from Cold Snap grenades travels further. So you can either throw your Cold Snap grenades or charge it into a Stasis turret. We'll get onto that later. If you guys are interested in any of these builds, the dim link will also be in the link of the description. I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit that like button and also subscribe. And as always, let's get right into the Cold Snap grenade build. First, let's start with the Stasis abilities. Starting with the class ability. I'm using the Healing Rift for more survivability. Next, for the movement ability, I was using Balanced Glide. For the Stasis melee, it's called Penumbral Blast. Raise your Stasis staff against your foe. Send a blast of Stasis forward to freeze your targets. Here's what freeze does. The target is trapped in stasis matter and is unable to move. After taking additional damage while frozen, the target shatters. So when you get a direct impact with your stasis melee, it freezes them. Next, let's head to the stasis grenade. In order for this build to work, you will need to use the Cold Snap grenade. A grenade that freezes on impact and sends another seeker to find and freeze targets. And if you were going to put either the Dusk-filled grenade or the Glacier grenade, it won't work for this build. Let's head to the stasis aspects. The first aspect is called Ice Flare Bolts. Shattering a frozen target spawns seekers that tracks and freezes other nearby targets. Here's what Shatter does as well. When a frozen target is shattered, they take damage and deal damage to nearby targets. Shatter damage also causes unstoppable champions to be stunned. So when you would throw your regular Cold Snap grenade, it would seek towards that enemy. As soon as he freezes that enemy, another Cold Snap grenade will go to another target. The second stasis aspect is called Bleak Watcher. This is the main aspect you would need to use for this build. Because if you would press and hold the grenade button to start converting your grenade into a stasis turret that fires a slowing projectiles at nearby targets. Here's what slow does as well. The target has slowed movement speed and ability regeneration. Their weapon performance is reduced. Slowed combatants have difficulty firing accurately and overload champions are stunned. After accumulating enough slow stacks, the target is frozen. So for example, if you would see an overload champion in front of you, all you would have to do is charge your Cold Snap grenade, throw it near the overload champion, and as soon as one projectile from that Cold Snap grenade hits the overload champion, it will be stunned. Next, let's head to the Stasis fragments. The first fragment for this build is Whisper of Durance. Slow from your abilities last longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also increase. So for the slow effect, it would increase the Bleak Watcher and also Cold Snap grenade. The second stasis fragment is called Whisper of Refraction. Defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy, in which case it's my Healing Rift. The third stasis fragment is called Whisper of Torment. You gain grenade energy each time you take damage from targets. So the more damage you take, the more grenade energy you receive. The fourth and final stasis fragment for this build is called Whisper of Fissures. Increase the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target. Primarily for this stasis fragment, we're focusing on defeating frozen targets. Now that we're done discussing what we need for our super, now let's head to the weapons. As always, for every stasis build, I would always put Aegir's Scepter because it's an exotic trace rifle and it's also stasis. And here's what the intrinsic trait does for this stasis trace rifle. The intrinsic trait is called Aegir's Call. Final blows with this weapon generate a slowing burst around the defeated target. And I also have the catalyst for the Aegir's Scepter, and here's what it does. Drain super energy, overflowing the magazine and empowering the beam with bonus damage and ability to slow and freeze targets until the magazine or super energy runs out, or the weapon is stowed. Can only be activated when the super energy is full. So it basically gives your Aegir's Scepter steroids. Now let's head to the energy weapons. In this season, there's an artifact perk called Volatile Flow. Picking up an orb of power grants your void weapons volatile rounds. So I'm going to be using this for my energy weapon and my power weapon. So for my energy weapon, I'm using the void SMG called Unforgiven with Feeding Frenzy and Frenzy. For my power weapon, it's called the Regnant. It's a void grenade launcher and it's also crafted. So I put Explosive Light and Auto Loading Holster. And for the origin trait for the Noble Deeds, we can actually enhance it even more with with the seasonal artifacts. So here's what Noble Deeds does. This weapon gains charges after assisting allies with revives, healing, overshields, or subclass buffs. Defeating targets consumes charges. While charged, this weapon gains bonus handling and reload speed. And here's how we can buff that perk with the Regnant. And it's called Defiant Armory. Greatly improves the benefits provided by the Noble Deeds, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, Tech Balance Stock, and Ambush Origin traits. And there's another artifact perk called Origin Hones that could also buff the Regnant, and it's called Origin Hones. Weapons with the Noble Deeds, Nano Tracing Rockets, Tech Balance Stock, and Ambush Origin traits are always overcharged when that modifier is active. And usually this modifier is always active in the end game content. And another reason why I'm using 2 void weapons is because of these other 2 artifact perks called Shattered Orbs. The first time you break a combatant shield, you create an orb of power if you break the shield with a matching damage type. And next is Bricks from Beyond. Defeating a powerful combatant with a void weapon has a chance to generate heavy ammo for you and your teammates. Now let's head to the armor, starting with the helmet. Harmonic Siphon. Rapid Stasis Weapon Final Blows creates an orb of power. And the second mod is Heavy Ammo Finder. Increases the drop chance of heavy ammo on kill. I would put this because I want to get heavy ammo more often so I can use my grenade launcher. And also when it procs volatile rounds, it would become very broken. The third and final armor mod for the helmet is called Void Siphon. Rapid Void Weapon Final Blows creates an orb of power. And the Void Siphon costs 1 energy because of the seasonal mod called Authorized Mods Void. The armor energy cost of all armor mods affecting your void weapons are significantly discounted. So originally it would cost 3, but with that seasonal mod it would cost 1. Now let's head to the exotic gauntlet called Osmiomancy Gloves. And now let's head to the armor mods for the exotic gauntlet. I was using 2 grenade kickstart mods. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. But also, as you're doing this, your armor charge is consumed and you gain additional grenade energy for each stack. And for the grenade kickstart, it would originally cost 3, but with this seasonal armor mod called Authorized Mod Grenades, the armor affecting cost of all of your armor mods affecting your grenades are significantly discounted. And now for the third armor mod for the gauntlet is called Bolstering Detonation. Grant class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. So I would charge my grenade into a stasis turret, I will throw it, and every time that stasis turret will hit a target, I would get rift energy. Now for the chest armor. As always for the chest armor, there really isn't any good mods, so I was putting resist mods. I was putting solar resist, arc resist, and void resist. And now we have the leg armor. The first mod is Recuperation. Replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. And the next 2 mods that I was using for the leg armor is Innervation. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. And our 5th and final armor piece is the Warlock Bond. For the first 2 armor mods I was using is Bomber. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And the 3rd and final armor mod is Reaper. After using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. So for this build, you're primarily going to use your cold snap grenades to either throw them or convert them into a stasis turret, in which case could slow the targets in front of you or freeze them. So as you're doing that, you can be able to get your rift energy back. So the more rifts you have, the more grenade energy you'll get from casting your rift. And also to tie that even more, you can use your Aegir Scepter to freeze and slow targets for more rift energy. And if you guys want to see another Warlock video, check out this video. I made an Arc Warlock build where you can be spamming all of your abilities non-stop. If you'd enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. The more people that will subscribe to the channel will motivate me to make more Destiny 2 videos.